Okay. Sounds of Decay 2.
This is Bedsore with Dreaming the Strife for Love. Bedsore might at first seem an odd name for a proggy death metal band, but like the band itself, there's a lot more to the definition of it than a simple, cursory, ugly, weeping wound.
I saw him with hemorrhoid. It's great.
The presence of sores leads to a deeper underlying cause and represents a metaphorical descent into obscure aspects of human experience. It reminds us what promises comfort can, almost ironically, become a source of deeper torment. It's a state of being where one loses control and cognitive function to be lost in a dreamlike state, in and out of consciousness, unable to take control of one's own self care. There are more layers here than a baklava, so let me paint the background for you a little.
This quartet is Italian, so you know there's going to be both excellence and weirdness. This is their second full-length, essentially a side project of post-black metal ensemble Seventh, with 3 members pulling double duty here. Ready for yet another layer? The album concept was inspired by a Renaissance-era book written by Francesco Colonna, whose title translates to this album title. The book is an arcane tale of the main character, Polifilo, who pursues his love, Polia, who has shunned him. He travels through dreamlike landscape into a wild forest where he becomes lost and encounters dragons, wolves, maidens, and other bizarre things. These 6 tracks runtime vary as wildly as the musical styles combine here. The shortest is just over 3 minutes and the longest just shy of 12. I told you things were going to get a bit strange, so trust me, the juice is worth the squeeze. The album starts with Minerva's Obelisk, a near instrumental except for some female ahs on the back half of the track. It starts with some shimmery cymbal ripples with sporadic downtuned guitar warbles dialed in by Jacobo Gianmaria Pepe. The deep purple style organ comes in full of 70s swagger over the mid-paced stick smacks of Davide Itri. Scars of Light has more organ blast by Stefano Algretti, whose long, tight, curly mop incidentally looks like it's straight out of 1972. Itri's drums are a doomy-paced thud. A piercing synth note gives way to a chug-a-chug guitar. The vocals of Pepe are full of growls, hisses, and Italian phrases. Let's play a clip. This is Minerva's Obelisk.
The song's architect built layers of blended organ, drums, and guitar, like sheets and blankets on a bed, and then strips the whole thing down to the mattress pad for a soft interlude before piling all the layers back on. One of my favorite examples on this track is when all drops off but a single keyboard note before the organ blasts back in with guitar settling into a repeated chug 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 like in a Uriah Heep style with a fretless bass of Giulio Romoli shifting restlessly under sprightly organ chords, while later Pepe joins in with some spewed, acrid growls. In contrast, Fanfare for a Heartfelt Love features a Bela Lugosi-esque organ in the style of toccata and fugue in D minor.
Oh, that.
You almost expect to hear someone talking about the children of the night and the beautiful music that they make. Later in the track, a rising synth tone gives way to accelerating drums that turn into a blood incantation-style noodly synth line. Later, layers of guitar sing out with the bass adding even more depth. Let's play a sample of Fanfare for a Heartfelt Love.
The epic in both title and length is the 11-minute 44-second A Colossus, an Elephant, a Winged Horse, the Dragon Rendezvous. Boy, that's a mouthful for you. It takes time building the atmosphere. The noise at the track's beginning sounds like a boat rocking on waves and groaning against a wooden dock. I had to pause to get a goblet of something before proceeding further into this saga. Soon, ominous brooding synths sound off like foghorns. A melody slowly plods into forming. A guitar picks up the song with brighter, longer notes. Eventually, drums soft stutter step in. When Pepe does come in, his vocals are those of a furious Nosferatu. There are no less than 3 interludes of synth tones, the third of which sounds like the harpsichord bleeding out quick notes, throwing it back to the 15th century or the first Genesis album. The drums eventually do enter blast beat mode for a bit. Also of note is a section of robotic computer blipping over mid-pace drums, and also a searing guitar solo and later a horn, before reversing out to a soft close. Let's play a little bit of a colossus, an elephant, a winged horse, the dragon rendezvous, and a partridge in a pear tree.
This is more than an album. It's more like being thrown into a musical voyage, and what a trippy one it turns out to be. Who thought you could mix together 70s prog with death metal, goth, and a bit of the Renaissance for good measure? These Italians do it with a huge epic feel and make it seamless. And of course, a little bit weird. Fans of Nocturnus, Shade Empire, or Anansi Pazuzu must get over to the genre and mind-bending camp of Bedsore.
Is computer.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.